In this video, we're going to talk about filing a notice of deposition in a family law case, either on, we're doing the notice either on a party to the case, which is usually the spouse of the person filing the notice of deposition, or some third party witness. And just generally speaking, what a deposition is, it's essentially it's a interview of a individual, whether it's a party or witness. It's questioning of a witness under oath, except it's not in an open courtroom. It's usually at a lawyer's office, and it's done into preparation for trial. So trying to get an understanding of the case, understanding the facts behind the case, trying to understand what a witness is likely to testify to at trial, etc. So I'm going to share my screen and show you the practice book section that regulates deposition notices. So it's practice book section 13-27 states a party who desires to take the deposition of any person upon oral examination shall give reasonable notice in writing to every other party to the action. Such notice shall not be filed with the court, but shall be served upon each party or each party's attorney in accordance with, sections 10-12 through 10-17. So those are sections that have to do with service of motions. The notice shall state the time and place for taking the deposition, the name and address of each person to be examined, if known. And if the name is not known, you can disregard that. Rarely you're going to not know the name of the person who you're subpoenaing to a deposition. So let's just kind of show you the practical, what the notices look like. So this is the form. Let's start with taking the deposition of a party, usually a spouse in a divorce case. So you're just going to state that you, the plaintiff, are giving notice that you're going to take the deposition of the defendant for purposes of discovery. You're obviously going to include the date, time, and location of the deposition. And you're also going to include any documents that you're asking the opposing party to bring to the deposition. So that's something that's beneficial about a deposition. You can also order somebody to bring documents to the deposition. And then you're just going to obviously list what all of those documents are, and then the standard certification. So for a deposition of the other party, you don't have to serve a subpoena or anything like that. Generally speaking, you can just serve the other lawyer, or if they're self-represented, serve the self-represented individual with a notice of deposition. And as it said in the practice book section, you don't actually file this with the court, you just send it to the other lawyer. So that is doing a deposition of an opposing party. Now, there's also taking the deposition of a third party, some witness, a boyfriend of, suspected boyfriend of the other party, etc. So here's a sample of that type of deposition notice. It's very similar, except you're going to obviously insert that individual's name. But otherwise, it's pretty similar, where you're going to list all the items that they have to present. And you're going to, again, serve this on the other lawyer without filing anything with the court. Now, the difference is on a third party deposition, you also have to subpoena that witness to court. Now, this is if you're an attorney watching this video, you can subpoena a witness. If you're not an attorney, you don't have the authority to subpoena somebody. So there's a different process where you ask the court's permission to subpoena an individual. So here's a sample subpoena, and you're just gonna insert the person's name and address, and you're essentially just going to put that you're commanding them to appear at, wherever the deposition is being held. You include the location, date, and time of the deposition, what they're, the case that they're going to be testifying in relation to. And you're also gonna, if you want that third party to bring certain documents, you're going to put that, list the items that you're going to need them to provide. And then you're going to sign the bottom of the deposition or the subpoena. So with the subpoena, you can't just mail this to the other side. You actually have to have a marshal serve the third party with the subpoena. So you're going to have to hire a marshal, get the person served in advance so that they know to show up at the deposition. So those are pretty much the basics of the notice requirements in taking somebody's deposition.